You've been running on fumes. Every morning you wake up to the same story. You, dreading your day, racing through a fog of exhaustion, telling yourself one more day, one more task. You feel it deep in your bones, the chronic ache, the cynicism, the soul-weary fatigue. You're not just tired, you're raw and unraveling under relentless pressure. The body that was born for joy now bears the imprint of burnout. According to the World Health Organization, burnout is no myth, but a real syndrome resulting from chronic workplace stress. You've lived it, the endless hustle, the guilt, the creeping emptiness. You know your mind flips to autopilot, detaching from reality, a dissociation that even psychologists recognize as the mind's way to cope with too much stress. This isn't weakness, it's your soul pleading for mercy. Still, you carry on. You've been told that rest is for the lazy, that only a warrior deserves a break after the battle is won. But pause. Look at that word, burnout. A concept so pervasive it's spelled out even on Scrabble tiles. Yet, it's no game. Your weary hand hovering over a checklist, that's the true face of modern living. Experts warn that this incessant pressure to meet unrealistic expectations leads to chronic physical and emotional exhaustion. In 2016, the World Health Organization reported that overworking killed more than 700,000 people that year. Think about that. Hundreds of thousands died because they couldn't stop. And you? You almost became one of those statistics running on guilt. It feels holy and terrifying to admit. Maybe you were never meant to outrun death by work. Your body has been screaming enough. Headaches, gut pain, the dead eyes in the mirror. Your spirit is screaming too. Maybe it's not your fault. Hustle culture preached that busyness equals blessing, that if you're not sprinting toward an arbitrary finish line, you're failing. But burnout isn't a trophy. It's a warning sign your soul sends. As one writer warns, burnout isn't a badge of honor, but hustle culture makes it seem like it is. Even when you're exhausted, there's that little voice whispering, "Shouldn't you be doing something productive?" That voice is a bully, not a guide. You know in your bones that this litany of guilt is a lie. The burning truth, burnout, trauma, and the soul. You may feel lost, empty, even split in two. The relentless grind can make you feel unreal, like you're watching your life pass by from the outside. This is dissociation, a known response to trauma and overwhelming stress. It's not that you're crazy, it's that your psyche is protecting itself. When work and worry swell, a part of you withdraws. It's as if your soul is thinning out, stretching so far across tasks that it forgets to touch ground. But deep inside, you still sense a flicker, a quiet wound, and beneath it, a whispering hope that things can be different. You might tell yourself, "But I can't stop. I have bills, goals, expectations." You might fear that taking a break means failure, that the world will swallow you if you slow down. But consider this. If a machine overheats, you shut it off to cool it. Why are you less valuable than a machine? Psychology tells us chronic stress without respite turns humans into shells. The American Psychiatric Association points out that having a purpose, a guiding star for your life, actually shields you from this collapse. It correlates with lower depression and anxiety. In fact, when young people lack meaning, their mental health plummets. Your soul knows this. The harder the purpose, the heavier the weariness when it's missing. It's soul-piercingly true. You were never made to work like a slave. You were made with a rhythm in your bones. Forcing yourself to ignore that rhythm is like trying to dance with your shoelaces tied together. From your heart's perspective, the routine has broken. You recognize on some level that something has to change before you break completely. The toxic lie of hustle culture. All around you, hustle culture sings a seductive hymn. It tells you a bigger car, a bigger bank account, a big title, these will make you whole. It pressures you to outwork, out-earn, outrun everyone else, as if life were a competition to the grave. But you have seen what that life looks like. Empty hearts at the finish line. Deep down, your soul rebels. You have glimpsed the dark truth. This ethos is toxic. It normalizes anxiety, glorifies sleep deprivation, and even encourages turning hobbies into hustles, as if creativity must always be monetized. Even that's been twisted into guilt. Relaxing becomes sin in the cult of constant productivity. You know the relentless comparison, scrolling through feeds filled with self-styled warriors who brag about 5 a.m. wake-ups and side hustles as if exhaustion were admirable. But do you ever wonder? Many of those posts hide teams of photographers and editors. Meanwhile, you juggle projects, care for your family, pay the bills, and still feel like you're drowning. No wonder burnout feels like a national epidemic. The blogs and corporate mantras fail to admit. Hustle culture encourages the lie that rest is only for the weak. It makes even taking a lunch break feel like you've given up, when really you're just being human. You've been told you're lazy for pausing, that if you're not grinding, you're failing. But listen, the only place a human was ever meant to be on 100% hustle mode is hell. On Earth, you were meant to breathe, to love, to create joy, not to be tethered to a screen or a time card till your body snaps. Micro-retiring. Rest as rebellion. Imagine for a moment hitting a pause button on life. Not at 65, but right here, right now. That's the quiet revolution they call micro-retiring. It's not a fantasy reserved for billionaire playboys or legendary gurus. It's a practical break from the relentless road. In simple terms, micro-retiring means building rest and renewal into your life now, taking intentional sabbaticals, career breaks, or extended vacations so that work isn't 100% of your identity. It redefines retirement as living fully today instead of deferring joy to some distant age. You may have seen the buzz on TikTok and Twitter. Gen Z and millennials are quietly sneaking out to the back door of hustle culture. A recent study found 1 in 10 Americans now plans a multi-month micro-retirement in 2025. That's millions of people deliberately pausing their careers to travel, create art, volunteer, or simply heal. This isn't irresponsible escapism, it's survival. Journalists are calling it a brilliant fix for burnout, and they echo what your soul knows. Life isn't a sprint to the end of the road, it's a dance. You are allowed to step off the treadmill without shame. Unlike a sabbatical that's grudgingly approved or a cushy fringe benefit, micro-retiring can be self-designed and frequent. It might mean taking 3 months off between jobs or cutting back to 4-day work weeks so you have an extra day to reset. The point is, you make rest a priority before collapse, not after. As Calm's blog says, micro-retirement is about relaxing before you burn out. You literally reclaim your time and sanity, deciding, right now I rest with purpose, and I'll return to work when I'm fully alive again. Why is this trend going viral? Because you and many others have been pushed too far. It's a response to a world that shouted, keep going or else. The pandemic, economic stress, and climate anxiety stripped away the illusion that future success is guaranteed. So instead of grinding towards a dim future, you're saying, I want now to be worth living. When costs skyrocket and life feels tenuous, you value the present. You've watched peers quiet quit, setting firm boundaries to protect their free time, only to realize that moderation still leaves you breathing too close to the edge. Micro-retiring says, maybe what we really need is to break fully, to shake the mold and live differently. And yes, some risk is there. Pulling back could slow your climb. But you've seen that race's finish line, a numb escape into pension age. What good is that if you're already half gone? Taking back your life is the real gamble worth making. How to micro-retire without feeling guilty. You're ready to begin this path, but doubt lingers. What if everyone thinks I'm slacking? What about my responsibilities? What about the bills? Look, you know that inner critic. It's the voice trained by hustle culture. But this is your life. It's time to give yourself permission and tools to change. Here are practical, soul-nourishing steps for a real micro-retirement. Unplug from the digital chaos. Step away from social media, news cycles, endless email pings. You already know how screens feed the frenzy. Now prove it. Go outside without your phone. Watch sunrises without the buzz. Research shows that even short digital detox breaks can significantly reduce depression. As writer Laurie Colwin put it, just as in sleep our brains relax and give us dreams, so at some time in the day we need to disconnect, reconnect, and look around us. Give your mind room to breathe. Let the stillness of earth and sky speak to you. You might cry first. It's been so long since you listened to your heartbeat instead of a notification sound. Rest deeply, not just power naps. This means more than a short break at work or a Netflix binge. Dive into true rest. Sleep guilt-free, eat without multitasking, stare at the ceiling or a starry sky, and actually empty your mind. Return to basics. Drink water, take naps, feel the textures of a blanket, soak in a hot bath. Consider gentle movement, a slow walk in the woods, or easy yoga that coaxes tension out of bones. Science reminds us that sleep and rest are not time wasters. They are lifesavers. Sleep is the golden chain that ties health and our bodies together, said an old proverb. Unplug now, before your body forces a shutdown. Remember, a well-rested you is stronger than a stressed you. Reflect on who you are, beyond roles. Without hustle, who are you? Ask yourself this in a journal or in meditation. Write a letter to your soul. You could answer prompts. What did I love doing as a child? If work vanished, what would light me up? Try soul care practices, quiet prayer, reading a book that feeds you, or just sitting alone with a cup of tea. This is soul work, and it's vital. It's okay if you don't know the answers yet. Even asking is healing. Each insight peels away the layers of expectation and guilt. I am not just a job title. I am more than my Instagram highlight reel. Hear that truth echo in your heart as you journal or pray it out. Rekindle your purpose and passion. After rest and reflection, turn your heart toward purpose. It could be creative, painting, writing, planting a garden, volunteering, or learning something new. You might find purpose in service, family, art, nature, anywhere that aligns with your values. It doesn't have to be grand. Even small actions can reignite the flame. Remember the science. People with a strong sense of purpose report much less depression and anxiety. Harvard found that young adults' worst mental health days were tied to not knowing what to do with their life. You deserve better. Build a vision, however small, and move toward it. Let that vision anchor you through lean days. When you do, life starts to feel meaningful again. By doing these, you're not quitting life, you're choosing life. You may feel guilty. Hello, old friend. But that guilt is a relic of hustle culture's programming. Every time it whispers in your ear, shout louder, I deserve this, I need this, my soul needs this. And practical tip, you don't always need a boss's permission. Find or negotiate leave, take gap months between gigs, schedule a staycation. Even creating a personal Sabbath, 1 day per week where you turn off all work alarms, is a micro-retirement practice. You might be surprised how employers and loved ones respond, often with relief and support. They see the new piece in you and know it's genuine, not laziness. As you begin to step off the treadmill, imagine this: a quiet forest, birdsong, or the gentle trickle of a stream. Feel the breeze as it cools your fevered skin. This deep rest is divine rest, a healing your soul has been begging for. It's a spiritual act as much as a physical one. In these moments, you heal emotional trauma like rain soothing scorched earth. You'll start to remember joy. Your tears during these practices aren't weakness. They're the soul's rain, watering roots so you can bloom again. You were made for more. Now let's look to the horizon. Feel the sun breaking through the clouds in that image above. That light is you. Beyond the fear and the guilt, you know that your life is not meant to be a prisoner to a clock or a system that wants more and more from you. You were made for so much more, for creativity, connection, love, and meaning. Think of it. The very stars in the sky don't worry about quotas. Neither should you. Remember who you are at your core, a living spirit, not a profit center, a child of something greater, not a cog in an endless machine. Your soul already knows the truth that your mind sometimes forgets. Even ancient wisdom teaches, your worth isn't measured in tasks completed, but in moments lived fully. You are not a slave to time. You are a person of depth and purpose. The work will still be there if you pause, but you might not be if you keep pushing. Let today be the day your soul finally heaves a sigh of relief. Inhale that possibility. You don't need permission to live. You need courage to trust what you already know deep down, that rest is sacred, that you are sacred. So stand up, feel your feet on the ground. You've heard the call, faint at first, now growing loud. It's time to live your life. Step back before you break, not after. Let this fiery truth burn away the lies. The horizon is brighter than you think. Go ahead and take that step. Your soul has been waiting for you all along.